Her POV. He hated the mess. He is a neat and freak and wanted everything clean and tidy. He can't stand messy people. But he was so unfortunate that he has gotten married to one messy woman. As he walked in, his eyes were unable to digest the sight of his aunt's clean room in a messy state now, full of gift wrapper flying around and boxes unpacked. Dresses were lying crowned everywhere on the floor. Not just any dress, it was her dress. Not finding the person who was responsible for all of this anywhere near, he yelled, "Why and where are you?" And just so his bride came out of the dressing room casually, his eyes widened in shock seeing the dress which she was wearing. "What is this you are wearing?" he asked in disbelief. "The wedding skirt was too heavy. I couldn't stand on it anymore, so I changed into this pajama," she said as she twined around in her wedding dress, which had everything but not the skirt. It was the pajama. He still couldn't believe what he was seeing. Ignoring the fact that his bride was a crazy woman, he looked around his room and the frown on his face deepened. "What have you done to my room? What with these gift wrapper and dresses?" Rain whined a bit at the mention of gift wrapper. "Oh, those are our wedding gift. At least they're one benefit of marrying you. I got lot of free stuff. They are so cool, you know." Wine knew that she was testing his patience, and that didn't stop her from pissing him off, not even one bit. "Why are the dresses lying everywhere?" he asked again. His voice was full of anger and his eyes were looking at her furiously, which did not even make her flinch. "I was searching for this pajama," she trilled again as she said again, "I did not pack my stuff, so it became quite a task." That's when he lost his cool. He grabbed her wrist angrily and pulled her closer to him. "Listen to me carefully. If you are going to live with me, then you have to learn how to keep things tidy. I hate my room like this. This should be the last time you are doing this," he murmured in his dangerous voice, which could have scared anyone but not her. "So what are you doing to do about that?" she asked him challengingly as she pulled away from his grip. He looked at her angrily as she was testing his patience. "I don't repeat my word. Clean the mess which you have created right now," he ordered her and walked out of the room. God, he hated everything about this woman. Wine smirked as she watched him walk out. "She's not going to clean the mess, not until tomorrow morning at least." With a soft yawn, she walked back into the dressing room and began to remove all her jewelry one by one. The most difficult task for her was untied her hair. Damn, there were so many pins and it hurt a lot. At last, when she was done with removing all the stuff, she got rid of her blouse and put on a loose t-shirt. When she came back, her so-called husband was still not back, which was a big relief. She looked at his bed with a small fawn. It was filled with roses and decorated pillows. "I hate my room like this," she recollected his word again. With a smug smile, she walked to the bed and removed its spreadsheet, which did most of her work. The room was now utter mess. The rose petals were flying around everywhere because of the fan, but what mattered to her was the bed, which is clean now. With a dramatic sigh, she jumped on the left side, and damn, the mattress was so soft. Wine fell asleep The moment she closed her eyes, it has been a tough day for her, a hectic too. Author POV. Taehyung, who came back after some time, and he was in a shock as he realized his so-called wife didn't clean her mess, but instead she has messed it a lot more with the rose petal and pillows. Oh God, why did you do this to me? He grunted mentally as he saw how the crazy woman was sleeping peacefully on his bed after taking away all his sleep. Despite wanting to wake her up and make her clean the mess, he let it go for this one day. He was too tired with all the happening in his life, and also she looked so peaceful in her sleep that he didn't get the heart to wake her up. Although his mind was urging him to just pour a glass of water on her face, he decided against it. Not having anything else left to do, he sat on the sofa, his eyes her again and wondered how can she sleep so peacefully when their life were so messed up like this. If not for his grandmother, he would never marry, not this woman sleeping over there at least. It was his grandmother's wish to see him get married before she died. For goodness sake, she was just 16-year-old. But the woman can do emotional blackmail very well, and the bride too was of her choice. He would had so much respect and trust in his grandma, has accepted whatever she had asked, even though he had no wish to get married for the next few years. But the girl whom he married was everything which he disliked in a woman. She was outspoken, he liked girls who are quiet and talk less, and also she was from the city. He hated the city girls. Enough said, he believed all the city girls are loud and shameless. That was the reason he studied in all-boy college. He hated the way the city girls conduct themselves or the way they talk with boys. He hated their way existence, and his wife was a living example of them. Damn, his life has never been so messed up. He raised in an interior village where his father and his uncle were treated like king. They ruled that place for over a year, and soon he will be taking over their position in the upcoming election. It was his dream to be a politician one day. He always wanted to be a leader just like his father. It so happened that Wayne and her family visit their village for a ridiculous vacation, and his grandmother, who met them by a chance encounter, intentionally fell in love with Wayne and almost immediately asked for her hand in marriage. Surprisingly, the family agreed too. That's how they both end up together as husband and wife. Now he officially hates his life now. Next morning. Author POV. When Leslie wakes up to the sight of her husband just came inside his room after working out in the gym his morning with so much dedication, which was rather very surprising. For a second she was confused about her surroundings, and the happening of the last few days flashed in front of her eyes, reminding her how her life has been changed dramatically. She continued to gaze her husband, who was drenched in a sweat. The word felt so alien to her. He looked like a completely different person, while so calm and cool compared to how rude he was yesterday. It was as though he was double-faced. Ignoring him, she then looked at the wall clock and sighed softly as she still got time for her to get ready. It was her first day here as well. She made her way to the bathroom before he goes. He signed and take his clothes and went to another room to take shower. She did her morning routine. When she came back, he was nowhere to be seen, not like she cared. She made her way to dressing room. Author POV. Wine life has been always unpredictable. She knows what loss really means for. She lost both her parents in car crash when she was just 11-year-old. She knew how selfish the world can be, for she has an uncle and aunt who took her in only because her parents were pretty rich and all their money was in her name. She knew what it felt to be like an unwanted person, for she was that very unwanted girl for over a decade now. She take out God's statue from her bag and the place on her dressing table and join her hand together in front of God. She pray for the strength and support of her Lord, for she about to venture on a new journey as a wife and daughter-in-law. For today on, how much ever forced this marriage was, she truly valued it. She valued the whole concept of marriage and believed in its power. At the same moment, Taehyung walked back to in his room and he made his way to dressing area. Just then he saw the view in front of him and drumstuck. For a while, he even forgot what purpose he came back to the room. His eyes were still not able to erase the sight of how peaceful and calm she looked while she prayed with her eyes closed and joined hand. Damn, she was beautiful. Just then she opened her eyes and saw him standing there. She gave him a funny look. "You want something from me?" she finally asked him as she observed him gazing at her for a long than a minute. He, who was taken back, was thinking of the excuses he could give, but as soon as he realized the state of condition his bedroom was in, he came back to his angry self. "You did not clear the mess." "Oh, I was exhausted yesterday. I will do it now." She surprisingly was in a cool mood now. Morning prayer did that magic. "Do it now. I hate my room like this," he said as he opened his dresser and took out a cool shade. Her eyes linked on his shades and then she found he walked out there to his room and she started following him. "Stop bossing me around. I am not your servant but your wife. You should respect me," she snapped at him as she began to pick the gift wrapper. There were so many. "I am cleaning this only because I have caused the mess, not because you are telling me to," she mumbled a little frustratedly as she put on the spreadsheet neatly back on the bed. "Yeah, whatever, clean it fast," he said to her distractedly as he wore his shade and was about to leave but stopped when something else stuck in his mind. "And don't get out of this room looking like that. Come down only when you are dressed nicely as a girl." He glared at her pajama and loose t-shirt disgustedly as he muttered those words. "I know how to conduct myself, Mr. Kim. Stop trying to become my teacher," she snapped, being slightly offended. There was nothing wrong with her dress. He gave her a pointed look and left the room without another word. One frowned at his disappearing figure and goes back to clear the mess that she has created. Her annoying drift off somewhere as she had something else to concentrate on. She took an hour to clean the entire mess. She has also arranged her clothes into his closet, which surprisingly had enough space for her. She also set the dressing table with her stuff and smiled proudly when she was done. A tight sigh left her mouth as she sat on bed, observing the room once again. This place was so far away from her so-called home, but it felt very welcoming despite her husband's rude behavior. She could understand him because he was very much forced into marrying her, so she didn't really blame him. And this new room wasn't too bad after all. She liked it. Like the sudden change, maybe this was for the best, she wished hopefully.